Ask most watch enthusiasts to name Seiko's greatest hits, and you'll most likely get a parade of divers that include names like the Turtle, the Tuna, and our personal favorite, the SKX007. And rightfully so. But before Seiko ever strapped on a tank-grade case and dove into those waters, the brand was building watches for a very different kind of extreme environment, the mountains. The story begins back in 1959 with the Laurel Alpinist, Japan's first purpose-built sports watch, designed specifically for Japanese mountain climbers. At just 35mm with an 18mm lug width and a manual wind movement, it was quite modest by today's standards, but it was genuinely groundbreaking for its time. Over the decades, the Alpinist line evolved, most notably crystallizing into the SARB-017, the cult classic green-dialed field watch with a dual-crown internal compass bezel, a watch that quickly became one of the most talked-about sub-500 watches on the internet. Unfortunately, it was discontinued back in 2018, and the grief was absolutely real with enthusiasts. Seiko answered with the SPB121, a faithful, modern successor to the SARB-017 formula. But in 2020, quietly alongside it, Seiko also dropped something a bit different, the SPB155. Same Alpinist DNA, 38mm case, no compass bezel, no dual crown, and a cleaner, more refined design language that pointed somewhere new. They called it the Baby Alpinist. The nickname stuck, and as we now know, so did the watch. We've spent years wearing and admiring this watch, and still consider it to be one of the best everyday Seikos you can buy. And after recently including it in our guide to the best sub-$1,000 field watches, we decided it was due time to take a closer look at the Seiko Baby Alpinist SPB155. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so kicking things off, the baby designation is a bit misleading, and honestly, it's a little unfair as well. This isn't a shrunken, dumbed-down version of the classic Alpinist. It feels more like a distillation of everything that made the line great, minus the polarizing bits. Picking it up for the first time, you're immediately struck by how purposeful and refined it feels on the wrist. The dual-crown compass setup of the SARB-017 and SPB121 has always been a divisive proposition. Of course, it's brilliant in concept, but perhaps just a bit too busy in execution. The SPB155 does away with all of that, and the end result feels much less like a compromise and more like a refined edit, and a good one at that. The Explorer comparisons here are inevitable, and honestly, they're earned. The clean, legible dial layout, the polished bezel over a brushed case, the 38mm case with a tight 46mm lug-to-lug, it definitely draws a parallel without wearing it on its sleeve. But let's be clear, this is definitely not an homage watch. It has way too much of its own character for that label to ever stick. At 38mm wide, 46mm lug-to-lug, and 12.9mm thick, the SPB155 hits a size profile that's increasingly rare to find in a serious tool watch. It's not a fashion-forward micro case, but it's also not competing in the big watch energy category. The watch just wears really nice on a wide range of wrist sizes, seen here on our wearer's 6.75-inch wrist for reference. The case architecture is a nice mix of brushed and polished surfaces. The top of the case is brushed, lending it that tool watch seriousness, while the case sides are polished with a gentle curve that catches light in a way that adds some unexpected elegance to the mix. The bezel is fully polished, and it's that contrast between the matte top surface and the gleaming bezel that gives the SPB155 its field meets dress watch duality that we love so much. The crown, situated at 3 o'clock, is an unsigned screw-down unit. The threading is smooth, the operation is precise, and functionally, it delivers exactly what it promises: solid water resistance to 200 meters, a figure that's genuinely over-spec'd for a field watch, and we mean that as a compliment. Flip it over and you'll find a sapphire exhibition caseback with the movement on full display, stamped with the expected text noting the sapphire crystal, stainless steel construction, 20-bar water resistance, and Seiko's Japanese origins. On to the dial, as this is where the SPB155 really earns its reputation, and then some. The gradated green dial is, put really simply, one of the best executed dials in this price segment. It runs from a deep forest floor green at the center and transitions toward near black at the outer edges, giving this watch a kind of depth that really changes character depending on the light. Under direct sun, it's vivid and alive. In shade, it pulls almost charcoal. It's a fume effect done with real restraint, and the matte granular texture on the surface adds a tactile feeling dimension that photographs can't fully capture. You really do have to see it under different light to really appreciate it. Sitting over all of this is a curved sapphire crystal with AR coating on the inner surface, and that slight dome adds just enough vintage distortion to make the dial feel like it has some age to it, and we mean that in the best way possible. The dial layout follows the Alpinist tradition: Arabic numerals at the even hour positions, triangular indices at the odd hours, all printed with a slightly warm off-white tone sitting just inside a railroad-style minute track. The gold-toned applied Seiko word mark sits at 12 o'clock, and at the bottom, the Prospex logo along with automatic and cursive and the 20-bar notation. It is a fair amount of text for such a clean watch, but we think it all works really well together. The handset is cathedral style, same as the larger Alpinist, and this is a design element that tends to divide people. Personally, we think it's one of the best things about the watch, but as many of you already know, the Hamilton Khaki Field Murph remains our favorite $1,000 daily driver, and it sports a similar cathedral style handset. The hands have a subtle warmth to their tone, echoing the faux patina lume applied to the plots, and the red-tipped second hands gives just enough pop without fighting for attention. On the lume front, Seiko applies Lumibrite to the hands and the small circular plots within the minute track, but the Arabic numerals and triangular indices themselves are not lumed. In a dark room, the hands are genuinely bright and will last you several hours, but the gap between hand brightness and index brightness is noticeable. For a brand that's legendary for lume on its dive watches, this is an area where the SPB155 feels like it left something on the table. A date window sits at 3 o'clock with a white on black date wheel. It's unobtrusive, clean, and of course, no Cyclops magnifier in sight. Under the hood beats the Seiko 6R35 automatic, and we have to really reiterate that this is a workhorse movement, not a thoroughbred. The 6R35 runs at 21,600 VPH, 3 Hz, features both hacking and hand winding, and carries a convenient 70-hour power reserve. But the accuracy picture is less rosy here. Seiko rates the 6R35 at -15 to +25 seconds per day, which is already a wide tolerance for a $725 watch, and real-world reports across forums are all over the place. Some owners land comfortably in the single digits, others hit the upper limit right out of the box. Positional variance is the reoccurring complaint, meaning the movement can run meaningfully different depending on its orientation, which makes consistent daily performance harder to nail down. It really does feel a bit like luck of the draw here, and that's definitely worth acknowledging. The movement can be regulated tighter by a competent watchmaker, but factoring in that additional cost on a $725 purchase certainly stings a little. It's not a deal breaker, but it is a conversation Seiko needs to have with itself as the SPB line pushes further into the mid-tier price bracket. The exhibition caseback gives you a nice look at the 6R35 in motion, which includes its utilitarian finishing and a subtly waved rotor. But at this level, we'd love to see the movement performance match the dial ambition. Moving on to the bracelet, the 3-link oyster-style bracelet is solid, literally. Solid end links, solid links throughout, and a milled signed clasp. The clasp also has a small gap when closed that a few owners have flagged. It's minor and purely cosmetic, but in a watch where the dial execution is so considered, it's the kind of detail that does stand out. The upside, 20mm lug width makes this watch an absolute strap monster. Brown leather, olive canvas, NATO, you name it. The green dial plays beautifully with earth tones, and half the joy of owning this watch is experimenting. So, as we round out our review, we once again ask the question, at $725, is the Seiko Baby Alpinist SPB155 worth it? And we'd argue it's one of the clearest yes answers at its price point right now. What Seiko has built here is a field watch that punches well above its weight class in terms of dial quality and overall wrist presence. The bracelet clasp gap is a minor cosmetic gripe, and the 6R35's accuracy and consistencies are a real consideration. But neither of these things define the experience of wearing this watch. The SPB155 isn't trying to be the SARB 017, and it isn't trying to be an explorer. It's carved out its own identity as a refined, versatile, go-anywhere automatic that looks equally at home on a trail or across a dinner table. For the Seiko collector looking to move beyond the dive watch stable, for the explorer-curious buyer who can't justify spending thousands of dollars, and for anyone hunting a one-watch rotation piece with genuine character, the Baby Alpinist delivers. The nickname may be Baby, but there's nothing small about what this watch actually does. As always, we'd love to hear from you. Do you think the SPB155 is one of the best everyday watches you can buy at this price point? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, please be sure to like and subscribe for more reviews, and we'll catch you in the next one.